Sometimes we're terrified that people won't like us, and it's a fear that starts small, but it can quickly grow into a monster. We do stupid things to impress people. We chase validation. We bend over backwards to seek external approval. We try to mold ourselves to fit other people's expectations, and sometimes it comes at the cost of ignoring ours, or maybe even just completely neglecting our own. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name is Chad. When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I truly want? Not what other people expect of me, but what do I truly want for me? The answer to that is sometimes it can be extremely unsettling. We spend so much time catering to others that we forget what it actually means for us and what it is that we actually desire. And if we're real, when somebody lets us down, it's because our expectations of them were just set too high. I believe that those expectations they're deeply rooted in our need for validation. We wanted them to act a certain way. We wanted them to treat us a certain way, and oftentimes it was ways that only align with our insecurities. I believe that everybody can actually experience happiness and fulfillment, but only if they stop trying to be liked by everybody. Because no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what you do, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you. That's just life. It's not personal, it's human nature. So when you let go of that need to be universally liked, you actually free yourself. You stop walking on eggshells, you stop wearing a mask, and you stop living a life that's a lie just so that you can fit in. The moment that you embrace this truth, you're going to unlock a freedom that most people will never experience over the course of their lives. The irony in this situation is the more that you try to get people to like you, the more you're going to look like a tryhard. You create a persona, a false version of yourself, just desperately seeking approval. You have to be real, because people are going to be able to smell inauthenticity from miles away. They're going to be able to see right through this facade. Think about what happens when you lie to yourself. I actually did a video about this where I went into great detail. Living for yourself, it doesn't mean that you stop caring about other people. It simply means that you prioritize yourself so that you can become the best version of yourself. And when you do that, you're going to be better. You're going to be better and more equipped to show up for all of those people who truly matter. For me, the only people whose opinions I actually care about is my wife and my daughter. And it's because those are the people that I live for. But here's the thing with that is in order for me to be able to live for them, I have to be able to live for myself so that I can be the best version of myself for them. I have to take care of my physical, my emotional, and my mental well-being, and I have to be authentic. That's what allows me to show up as the best version of myself for them. So think about all of the people that matter the most to you. Are you showing up as the best version of yourself for them? Or are you constantly drained and distracted? You lack energy because you're constantly trying to please everybody. I firmly believe that when you try to live up to other people's expectations, you're not even living. You're simply existing as a puppet where the strings are being controlled by everybody around you. And those strings, they're tied to your fear of rejection. And the truth about rejection is that it really doesn't even matter. If somebody doesn't like you, that's their problem, not yours. Because somebody else's opinion of you is none of your business. And your opinion is the only one that should actually matter. Living life for yourself, it's about rewriting your script and realizing that the only person that you need to impress is yourself. It's about understanding that happiness does not come from external approval. It actually comes from internal acceptance. Here's another thing to think about is when people say that they want to be a millionaire, most of the time what they're actually saying is, I want to spend $1 million. And when they want to spend $1 million, it's because they're oftentimes they're seeking that external validation or that external approval. They're going out and everybody wants to go out and buy that expensive car or those expensive clothes, that fancy watch, the big house. And they're all doing it to impress people that really don't even care. the cost of living that lifestyle, it's more than just financial. It's emotional and mental and even spiritual bankruptcy. I say it all the time. It's okay to want nice things. It's okay to have nice things, and I think we should all have nice things. But when we're buying these things that we don't need with money that we don't have to impress people that we don't even like, what the hell is the point? When you live life for yourself, you don't need to buy validation. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to prove your worth to anybody. You're free. I mean, I know it. Living for yourself, it's easier said than done. But truly, all it requires is a shift in perspective. I mean, it's not about ignoring the world or becoming selfish. It's about aligning with your values, your actions, and your goals, and not somebody else's. If buying that big fancy house is what's going to make you happy, then you should do it. You should figure out a way, and you should do it. If buying that car is going to make you happy, then you should figure out a way to afford that nice car. But you need to figure out how to actually afford it, how to truly afford it, to where it doesn't bring stress into your life. Because if you have a $1,500 a month car payment or a $1,000 a month car payment because you had to go buy, I don't know, a Hellcat, for example. If you're only making $50,000 to $100,000 a year, that financial burden that car is going to bring into your life is not going to allow you to be happy. At first it might, but once you start making that car payment and paying for that insurance, there will be regret. So ask yourself, what makes you happy? What do you value the most? And what is it that you actually want out of life? Because if you're not living in alignment with those answers, then it's time to make a change. Change is not easy. It requires courage. It requires honesty, and I think most importantly, it requires commitment. But if you're able to do that, if you're willing to do that and make the sacrifices necessary, then the reward is going to be living a life where you're excited to be awake and you're happy to be you. Hello. Think about social media, for example. It is designed to make you crave external validation. Say you're building a social media community, or you're building some sort of a social media following. If you're not careful, every single like, every single comment, and every time somebody follows you or subscribes to you, that can actually fuel the need for external validation. That doesn't mean it happens all the time, but in a lot of situations it does. And when that happens, most of the time, people are going to find themselves getting burnt out because it's going to take the passion out of the project. And in turn, that you could have 1 million followers, but because you're not actually pursuing your passion, you're seeking that external validation, you're still going to feel empty. And that happens because external validation, it's nothing more than a temporary high. That high, it will begin to fade, and then before you know it, all you're doing is you're just chasing your next hit. Living for yourself, it means stepping away from that cycle and finding fulfillment within, rather than finding it with all the likes and the comments and the subscribers or followers. But truthfully, this isn't just about social media, it's about everyday life. Look at the decisions that you make in your relationships, your job, and your hobbies. Are you doing those things because they make you look good? Or are you doing everything because it makes you feel good? When you start living for yourself, every one of those decisions that you make, they become more clear. You stop wasting your energy on things that don't matter. You stop pretending, and you start living a life of authenticity. Because when you live for yourself, you are going to attract the right people. The people who truly respect and appreciate you, the ones that add value to your life, instead of the people who are constantly draining you. You don't need 1 million people to like you. You just need a few that genuinely love you. And the only way to find those types of people is to be your true self. So let go of the fear, let go of the need to impress people, and let go of everybody else's expectations of you. Start living for yourself, because when you do, you are going to realize something that is absolutely incredible. The right people will love you, and not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are. Live authentically, live boldly, and live for you. If you made it this far, do me a favor and go down in the comments section and write the word myself. Me, myself, and I, we are the ones that are responsible for the outcome of our lives. We are the ones that are responsible for the way that we react to others' expectations of us. We cannot control how somebody else reacts to us. We cannot control somebody else's actions. We can set our boundaries, but we cannot force somebody to abide by our boundaries. And if they don't want to, then it's time to rethink the relationship, in my opinion. Because somebody who truly cares about you, somebody who respects you and loves you, they will have no qualms about respecting your boundaries. They will be selfless instead of selfish. And selfish people, they're the ones that are going to show up that only show up when they need something. They don't show up when you need something. And I'm certain we've all experienced this throughout our lives. All of us have some sort of a skill that somebody else wants to capitalize at some point. And the only time somebody gets a hold of us is when they need something. The plumber, as a welder, as a mechanic, I used to experience this all the time. People would just show up out of the woodworks. Hey dude, my plumbing won't work. Dude, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. And then at the end of the day, if I go to give them a bill, they're gonna be shocked because they expected it to be free, which in turn means that they don't value me and they don't value my time. They value themselves and their time more than they value me, which is fine, that's how it should be. But at the same time, a relationship needs to go both ways, and everybody's time needs to be valued in that relationship. I will never approach somebody that I know who has some sort of a service or who offers any sort of a service and expect them to just give me their time for free. And I won't do that because I know the value of time. I understand the value of time. And I understand what it took for that person to develop that skill and get to the point in their life where they were able to provide that skill to other people. I ask for these one-word comments because it does a couple of things. It helps us reprogram our subconscious mind through that neuroplasticity, where we reprogram and we reshape the way that our brain forms and functions. When we see something over and over and over, it's going to help us start to begin to see things in a positive light where we used to see them in a negative light, because we're shifting our perspective and understanding things in a whole new way. It helps us realize the power in our words and understand the power in our self-talk. And then the other thing it does is it helps us channel out. Every time the algorithm sees something, whether it's a like, a comment, or somebody subscribes, then it's going to be more likely to push this content out to other people who might find value in it as well. It's just something easy and free that anybody can do. I want to thank you guys for those super thanks that you keep giving me. I truly appreciate all the generosity and all of the kindness that you guys are showing me and this channel and my family. That's all I got for today. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I hope that you guys are showing up for yourselves, and I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Peace.